Hi, today I would like to share with you one of my most popular Medium articles, how to deploy your Flask application to AWS running on top of Ubuntu and Python 3. So let's get started.
Okay, the first thing you need to do is sign into the console. Make sure you have an account before starting this tutorial. Once you're signed in, you can find a link to the EC2 dashboard in the recently visited services, or you can look in all services and click on the EC2 link. And then what you want to do, you want to launch an instance. For this tutorial, we're going to be using an Ubuntu server version 20.04 running Python 3. So make sure you select this version, and also you select the 64-bit 86 version of that server. Here we'll be using a type t2.micro, mostly because it's free. You can use it for a year. So let's just select that. Click on Review and Launch after that. What you want to do is edit the security groups. And I usually like to select an existing group if I have it, so that I don't keep building up new security groups as I launch new servers. Here you can see that I already have 4, but we can just create a new one. Make sure you give your security group a meaningful name so that you know what it does, and also give it a good description. Let's just call it web server demo. Demo security group. Alright, and also you want to make sure that you have SSH enabled. You also give it an HTTP so you're able to access it from the browser. Here you can change it to be accessed from anywhere or your IP. You might want to do that for your SSH type. And also if you're going to add HTTPS, you want to enable that here too. Alright, so go to Review and Launch. Here, also I like to reuse my keys, so I don't keep building a new one every time. I already have one here, so I'm going to use web server admin. Actually, let's just create a new one. Now let's call this web server demo. And also make sure you download it, as they won't provide this for you once again. And then make sure you save it somewhere. Make sure you put it somewhere safe so you're able to find it. So launch instances. And you have to give it a few minutes. You can click on View Instances, and you'll see that right now it's pending. What I like to do also is give it a meaningful name that I know what it is. Alright, and now you can see that the instance state is running. So we're ready to go. The next step is now to connect that to our EC2 instance with SSH. The fastest way to do that is to click on the connect button on the EC2 dashboard and locate your connection settings. Here you'll get 3 different tabs. The one you want is SSH client, and it'll give you instructions on what to do. First things first, we want to make sure that we give our private key file the correct permissions, and that we move this file to the correct place. So what you want to do, you want to open up your terminal. I'm using item2, and you should have a .ssh directory in your root directory. If you don't have one, make sure that you create one. All you have to do is run this command, mk there ssh, and that'll create it for you. Also note that I'm in my home directory in my machine, so that's where you should create that SSH directory. So if you already have one, just go into there and open up that directory. Here you can see that I'm using the O command. That's a custom command that I added from a machine. You can also find this directory in your machine by going to your home directory here. So the easiest way to get to this directory is to use iterm. You can also use the finder, but you won't be able to see it. As you can see, you just click on the home directory of your machine, and you can't see it yet. So the quickest way is to press these keys on your keyboard. So basically you press and hold Command Shift and then dot. Make sure that the Finder window is selected. So Command Shift dot. And now you should be able to see it. It's right here. Alright, so let's move our private key file from the desktop and place it here. To hide this directory again, what you have to do is just run the same command again, and it'll hide it'll stop showing the hidden files. As you can see, you can do it again if you like. Alright, so now that we have our private key in the correct place, we're going to have to run this command to change the permissions. Alright, and then it also tells you to that you can connect with SSH by using this command. You can do that through iterm easily. And what you want to do before you run this command, make sure you tell it that we put it in the SSH directory, and this is how you do it. So once you copy and paste that command and then you update it, point it to the correct directory, You just hit enter. And it'll also ask you if you want to continue connecting, and add that fingerprint to your machine so that it knows that you're allowed to connect to this instance. Alright, so now you're inside your freshly launched Ubuntu server. As you can tell, here is the version. You can just clear that out. Also, yes, you can see there's nothing here. All right, so this is one way to connect to your instance. I prefer to use Terminus. Alright, so let's configure Terminus. The reason I like to use this is because I can keep I can save my settings to different instances that I have currently running. I don't have to go back to AWS and copy all this information that I need. So I can just like automatically just save it and click on it and connect. So let's get that configured. So give it a meaningful label. For address, what you need is public DNS. Copy that. You want SSH. Username is Ubuntu in this case, and for password you want to give it the key that we just downloaded. Alright, so it's a private key file, so click on file, and let's find that in our SSH directory. Here. Make sure you hit save. Alright, everything looks good, and then now you can just click on and agree to continue. Alright, so as you can tell, we have the same sort of a similar interface, but now we can just close this connection, click on the link, and we'll be able to faster connect to our server. Right. Once you're connected, the first thing you want to do is make sure you update the local package index and upgrade your system to the latest versions to make sure we don't have any conflicts when we're running our app. So I just run sudo apt get update. Allow that to finish. And the next command that you want to run is sudo apt -get -y upgrade. The y here is so that you won't ask any questions when you're installing the packages that you need. Just a shortcut. As you can tell, there's a lot of packages being upgraded, so it might take a few minutes depending on your machine. So just allow that to finish. Okay, the upgrade is now complete. Ubuntu version 20.04, it comes with Python 3 built in, but we'll just double check and make sure that we have the latest version. To do that, run the Python 3 command with the v flag. And as you can tell, we are already running the one of the latest versions of Python, 3.8.5. All right. Once we check that we're running the latest version of Python, we want to install pip, which is a package manager for Python. To do that, run this command. As you can tell, I'm using the sudo command. That's so that I have the correct permissions to be able to install these packages. And there's a few other libraries that we need to install. So use this command to install the rest of the libraries that we need to have a robust development environment in our machine. All right, so now Python is ready to go. We also will be using Git to clone one of our projects from GitHub directly into the server. And this version of Ubuntu, it's already comes built in. It's already installed. To double check, you can just run this command git version, and you'll see that it's already installed, and that's the current version. Clear that. Alright, so now the most difficult step is to install and configure Apache and WSGI. So to get that started, run the following command. And this will install Apache into your Ubuntu server. Alright, once that's complete, we can test out that Apache is installed correctly. We go into your instance's public DNS. So go back to your Chrome browser or whichever browser you prefer. Paste that in, and here you can see the Apache Ubuntu default page. This means that it was successfully installed. It also gives you some instructions on how to configure your server. So we'll go over that next. We also want to install WSGI, and basically that is it is necessary because Apache servers don't speak Python, so it's the interface between Apache and our Python application, just so that it allows that communication to happen. So run this command. Also, I would like to point out that make sure that you're installing this version of WSGI for Python 3. Otherwise, you might run into some errors related to your environment. So don't install to install this version. And this step also automatically enables WSGI, so you don't have to worry about that. All right. Let's quickly build a simple Flask app so that we make sure that everything is as basic as possible or as simple as possible, so that we minimize the number of errors we run into when configuring our server, and we'll be able to make sure that everything is working correctly. So it just makes things easier. First things first, let's just create a directory. And I'm creating this directory in the Ubuntu machine root directory. And this is the name of the project that we're going to be using in this tutorial. So just name it microservices.com or whatever the name of your project is. All right. Next, we want to create a symlink to the Apache site root that's defined in the configuration. Okay, let's hit enter. All right. Okay, so now sitting into that directory, and you can see it's currently empty. So let's install Flask with pip3. And as you can tell, I'm using sudo because I need the correct permissions to be able to install these packages and make changes to the server. So make sure you're running all these commands with sudo. Okay, so now I'm going to add a production WSGI file. You can name this development or local, whatever you like. But I think it's easier just to follow this tutorial step by step and not change things yet, just to make sure that don't run into extra trouble. And also I want to mention that I'm using Vim to edit files. So that's what I'm doing with that command, vi. Alright, so now open that WSGI file with Vim and copy and paste this configuration. To exit, want to press the escape key and then colon WQ. And what that'll do, it'll save your changes. If you don't want to save them, you can just press the Q key on your keyboard and add the exclamation mark at the end. Alright, so hit enter, exit that. Okay, let's just create a simple Flask application. Once again, open that with Vim and copy and paste the following. Also, this tutorial, or the written version of this tutorial, it's in the link below. So make sure you have that open so you can actually and quickly just copy and paste. Okay, now once we have those two files ready to go, the next step is to configure our virtual host so that they know where our application is running. So make sure you cd into your root directory. And now we're going to make some changes to the Apache configuration files, which is located in this path. So this is the default virtual host for Apache. Now we won't be using this, so you can go ahead and close that. And we're going to create our own. I'm going to name this microservices.com.conf. Hit enter. Alright, and once again, you want to add the following to this file. As you can tell, I have this placeholder values right now, so don't worry about these right now. What you want to focus on is document root, which points to the Apache root server and some link that we created, microservices.com. The daemon process is also set to the name of the application that we're building, and the script alias, or the WSGI, which is pointing to production WSGI. Also, you want to tell it the name of our directory is here. It's called microservices.com. You want to add that here to the WSGI group. To edit this file, if you have to, just press the I key on your keyboard, and that'll put you in edit mode. I recommend that you open up a Vim cheat sheet, or just quickly Google how to use Vim. Okay, so once you make those changes, go ahead and save this file. Now we're going to disable the Apache default config. Run this command, and it'll tell you that it has been disabled. And then let's activate our new configuration, just like it told you right here. So as you can tell, I run into an authentication error here. So so we need to run that with sudo. All right. Next, we want to reload Apache. All right. So now let's go back to our browser and make sure that our application is running. So just refresh the page, and you will see "Hello, I love Flask" being displayed in your page, which is the same thing that we have our hello route returning. So at this point, you know that everything's working well.
Okay, at this point you should have a simple Flask application running in your AWS server. On my next video, I'll go over on how to deploy a more complex Flask application. For now, feel free to comment or connect on Twitter if you have any questions, and also don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.